All right, market update here on the 23rd. Big week ahead. I mean, I don't think the Fed's speaking or anything like that, but we're kind of at a point in the market where we could get a significant pullback. We could also just continue melting up. So I'm starting here on QQQ because I haven't done an update on that in a while. Let's go over the overall chart first. So I have the third wave is ending right here in March. The overall third wave. Made a fourth wave down here in April, and then we started just melting up again. Within that fifth wave here, I think we just finished the third wave. So I think we're starting the overall fourth wave. And so there's not really that much more to go. So that's something to be aware of. You can see here, I have 1, 2, 3. We're in a fourth wave. Could get a fifth wave. You also notice that we're at the very top of the standard deviation, so you probably want to be cautious here. But in our RSI too, let's go over RSI real quick. So on RSI 20, I have this marked. This is historical RSI right here. The highest it got to was 83 ever. We're currently at 71. We got up to 77. So it can still go higher. That's fine. Top of the standard deviations. Now let's zoom in here. We're in the fourth wave. And looks to me like it's probably a 5-wave move down. If I zoom in here, we are at the bottom of the 15-minute standard deviation right here. But it's not clear if this was a fifth wave right here. It did break below the end of the third wave. This is a B wave. So this could be the end of it right here, or it's going to go down more. Maybe something like that on Monday, or we're probably going to get something like this. But there's also the possibility, if I zoom out here, I don't need to zoom out, I guess. This is daily demand down here at 467. So let's just say this ends up being a 5-wave move down here to like 476 or lower. Then you could get that as an A wave, pullback, B wave down here to 466. That'd be about a 3-4% pullback, and that's definitely possible. But I also have this parallel line here from the second wave. We'd be way outside of that. So I'm kind of leaning towards a very shallow fourth wave here, and then starting to melt up again. Also, I'm leaning towards that because the end of the quarter, they usually like to pump it to make their clients happy, show those gains at the end of the quarter, and the first half of the year too. So I'm leaning towards it being a shallow correction and a melt up into the end of the month. But there is a possibility of coming back down here to 461 to 467 before going higher. This is probably going to hit 500. So I would say 500 would be the target. Nice round number there. And after that, we finished this whole move, going all the way back to October 22. So we finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what does that mean for QQQ? It means that we're probably going to get a pretty big pullback into the election. Like I've been saying, I don't know how big, but I'm kind of thinking that something like this is going to happen. I've said this before in previous videos. I think we're going to get a pullback like this, and then after the election, go even higher than 500. Like this, I don't know, maybe even go to 600. And then we'll get a crash after that. So I think that we're going to get a major B wave after the election. The reason I think that is because the other indexes I think are going to outperform. I think IWM will probably outperform after the election. And so I think it makes sense that QQQ finished its move before the election, but has a chance to melt up past that all-time high for a B wave. and then crash after when everything else pulls back. So we're almost there, but I think we probably have another month or two. So it might be kind of sideways. It might be, you know, something like that. But I do think we're probably going to hit 500. So get ready for another 5% from here. SPY. So SPY in the same position as QQQ in the fourth wave. And similar, but I feel like this is, I mean, it could go down too, but I feel like it's probably going to go up. I feel like the B wave is not finished yet, so I have 546 to 547 potentially early in the week, and then probably coming down here to 538 to 541. So I think SPY will probably go down another little bit less than 1%, but could melt up first. Regardless, I have the fourth wave ending here by Tuesday probably. So besides that, I think that SPY is in a different little bit different spot. So SPY is only finishing out the overall third wave. Overall, I mean. So let's go back here. It's a different spot. So we have 1, 2, 3, pull back into the election 4, fifth wave after the election. So I think SPY still has a fifth wave to go. QQQ is in its fifth wave already. So different spot, but you can see why I think QQQ is probably going to make a irregular ABC move because SPY will go to new highs. So QQQ will probably go past its all-time highs as well. A little bit different structure, but pretty much the same thing. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on SPY. Look for a pullback to 540 to 543. And then if it does break that, there is a possibility. Let's say if QQQ goes back to 467, SPY is probably coming back down here to 535 to 530. Potentially. There's a gap down here. Let's get into individual stocks. Apple. So Apple hit this on Friday. I wasn't even paying attention to this. It already hit the 207 level that I talked about in the previous video. And so Apple might be finished here. It might already be finished. 5 waves down, hit 207. We should see a bounce. It finished there at the bell too. So Apple should be ready to bounce. It's still above the 20. So this is a 1 hour demand zone, but it also is, there's no gap there, I guess. But yeah, you can see here, unless this is 5 waves, which it's probably not. Yeah, it's probably not. But this might, if this comes down here to like 206 early in the day, then maybe it's a third wave. If it's a third wave, then my count's probably wrong. Because then it would just make it probably come down here to like 195 right away. When I was thinking that this had another leg up, and then it was going to go down to 195 after the market tops out. So I think this is probably ABC. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. New high coming. And then it comes down to 195. Like that. into the election, and then melts up one more time. So Apple, I think, is a buy here, to be honest. It's gone from 220 down to 207. On the daily, it might just be getting right back into, yeah, it's at the very top of the standard deviations, and it's just going from overbought to not overbought. But you can see right here, look at this move right here. You can see this is a second wave on the daily, third wave, pullback, fourth wave, fifth wave should be coming here shortly into July or August. And then you pull back to the fourth wave and then fifth wave higher. Let's go over Meta. So I'm still holding this. I'm down on my position. But this is still above the 20 and the 50. Still very bullish. Looks like a corrective move to me. Fourth wave. I'd probably be surprised if it went below 489. It's fallen already a lot in the last, like, and you can see here, this is a very corrective move. Another reason why I'm bullish. So again, we got a truncated fifth wave here. It started right here. Even if this does break below 488, it's got support from the 50 at 478. That would even break into the first wave. It wouldn't be the best situation, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I still think it could be a diagonal higher. I think at some point this is going probably up here to like 550. So I'm long Meta. I think it can fall down here to 489 on Monday, Tuesday, but I think it's probably going to go up here to 550 after it's finished. And then that should complete the overall cycle of Meta. So going back to 2022, this should be finished. And after that's finished, who knows? We'll see how it goes. Let's go over Microsoft. So Microsoft, I thought this was going to be a diagonal. It looks like it might be in a third wave here. I don't think that this was first, second, third, fourth, fifth. That wouldn't make that much sense. Let's zoom in here a little bit farther. Yeah, so it's probably in a fourth wave here. So it could pull back a little bit on Monday, Tuesday, but I have fifth wave going all the way up here to 482. So look for Microsoft to go higher too. Let's go over Salesforce. I'm in this stock. It's absolutely blasting. So when I got into this, I did sell a little bit last week, but I think this is going to minimum 260. And it already started its C wave. It's probably at C wave. So we have A here, B, C. And the 1.61 fib is sitting at 260 basically. And so you can see here, it just randomly started blasting off. And it's probably in a fourth wave as well. So you might see a little bit of pullback, and then it's probably going to go higher with Meta, Apple, all those, up to 260. But if you're in this stock, you got to watch out because I think this is a second wave. And I have this going all the way down to potentially 135, which seems crazy. But that's what I see on the count. I do think that that's a overall fourth wave though. I think you can go higher after that, make new highs. So I'm probably looking to sell at 260 or so, and then watch it fall after that. Tesla. So Tesla, I haven't been going over it as much because it really hasn't been doing anything. but there's some major points to point out here. We're above the 20 and the 50 on the daily. On the weekly, we're above the 20, and the 50 is all the way up here at 215. So what is going on here? I think that, so I originally said there's a chance this is a B wave higher, finishing off the B wave. I now am leaning towards this already being ready to go up to 240. So this kind of tricked me a little bit. When you got this B wave right here, I was expecting this to be ABC like that, considering that this did not come even close to the bottom of this, which is still possible, but based on what everything else I see, I think it's probably ready to go. So this is probably the end of the B wave right here. So I have it labeled as B or 2, and then you got that 5-wave move from the bottom here. So I have this labeled as wave 1. We got a corrective move down, impulse move up, and now we got a corrective move down. So I want to see this hold 176.92. And then I'm ready for this third wave to start. Could take it all the way up to 196. Overall, I'm looking for at least 207 for a third wave. But we could be off. And who knows, it could even be tomorrow. I think we're off for this. As long as 176 holds, then we're probably going to get something like this. And then pull back, and then 240. So Tesla's probably ready to go. It's got to hold 176. If it does not hold 176, then I'd probably be looking for this. Still, like 200. And that makes sense. Wouldn't really make sense. I don't. No, it would. No, that would actually wouldn't make sense. Never mind. I'll have to rethink it. 176 needs to hold for the move higher. If it goes below that, we'll have to see. That's going to change everything. That's going to make it really weird if it goes below 176, in my opinion, because you have an impulse move, corrective move going below the impulse move. Wouldn't make that much sense. For all these reasons, I really think that it's ready to go. So we'll see if we get that move higher. It could be ready to go as early as Monday or Tuesday. Let's see. This looks pretty corrective though. So you might get such a tricky stock sometimes. You might get something like this. But anyway, Tesla is bullish. Any way that it works out, it's bullish. I'll have to rethink this because this is a impulse move itself. So it wouldn't make sense for this to be corrective move, impulse move, corrective move below the other corrective move, and then impulse move higher. That wouldn't make any sense. So we'll see what happens with Tesla. If it holds 176, it can go all the way up to 240. Do a random speculative stock, IONQ. I bought this. I just averaged in. I said I was going to average in. I ended up selling it because it bounced really nice. I sold it here in this supply zone. But I do think if this pulls back, I'd probably rebuy again. And this is looking pretty impulsive to me. And I'm looking for this to be a fourth wave though. So maybe something like that. I'm overall looking for IONQ to hit. This is a reason I like it a lot. It made 5 waves and it's retracing. It's already hit the 0.5 fib. We have A, B right here. Is this on log chart? No, this is not log chart. Okay. So we have A. Originally thought that was the A wave, but nope. B wave here. The 1.61 fib is at 544. So I think that this is probably going to go down a little bit more. And I actually have this as a fourth wave. So 1. No, hold on for a second. So the minimum, let's just go over the minimum without going into the smaller time frames. The minimum's already been hit at 661. So technically it could be finished, but I have weekly demand down here between 526 and 612. It did not hit that yet. So I think we're looking for a bounce here, maybe to like $7 or $8, and then another move down when the market corrects, probably to the low 5s, maybe even down here to 460 to 521, but probably the low 5s, 550 or so. And then that's a slamming buy. It is a speculative stock. They don't have any earnings, anything like that. But you're buying it for the future, and I think when growth stocks go crazy, this can go up to potentially, I don't know about that, but $70, maybe like $37. It already hit 21. So if we get a crazy growth stock move like 2021, this could hit 35, 40, $50, and you're buying it at $5 or $6. So regardless, even if it doesn't, you can still get a retrace, probably do at least a 0.5 fib, and that's going to give you a double, $11. So IONQ, I'm keeping my eye on that one. It's a good one to look at. RIVN. I like RIVN here too. It's fallen a lot here. It's above the 50 in demand. I think it's ready to bounce. I think it bounces over the next month or two. So I don't know where, but I think there's a chance that it can fill this gap at 1523. So I think there's a good chance that we're looking at A, B, C like that. Potentially 5 waves too, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be ABC up here to $15. And then when the market crashes or corrects, it's probably going to come down lower. So RIVN I like a lot here. GME. I get questions about GME sometimes. I showed the overall chart in the last video. Let's go over the smaller time frames. I like this short term, just like I like all the rest of the growth stocks short term. I think that this is setting up for a move back up to 35 to $40. It's in demand right here, daily demand. This to me looks like A, B, C like that. And it might come a little bit lower on Monday, Tuesday, but I think you're looking at an overall move like that. And if that happens, I'd be getting out because the next move after that is going to be this. So I think that they're going to have one more pop, and then I think it's going to burst, and we're going to go below $15. So I think GME is actually a pretty good swing trade short term. Let's see here. Palantir really sold off here. I bought more calls, trying to figure out what the structure was because I wasn't expecting it to fall this much. It still looks to me like it's in a 5-wave move, potentially. If it breaks below 2289, then that changes things. Because right now you can still look at it like this. And then this could be an extension. This can be. So it needs to hold to get up here to 31 bucks, it needs to hold 22.84. If it breaks 22.84, then it is invalidated. And then after that, you'd have to change the count. So 22.89 needs to hold. This can still be a second wave, but let's zoom in here and look at what's going on with this move. It does kind of look like it's an impulse move. Yeah, it looks pretty impulsive to me though. So it's going to come down to if it can hold 22.89. I'm going to look at the other waves here. Is it possible? It is possible, I guess, that this whole thing right here, this could be it. This could be this. If it pulls back, this could be right here, and just a bigger version of it. So if it ends up breaking 22.89 and doing something like this, then we could be basically right here, or doing this move right here, down to here, because I still think it's going to 31 no matter what. But I don't like this. It's impulsive down. So again, it could be an extension, or it could be the start of something like this. So yeah, that's making me think about it since it's an impulse down. But eventually, I think you're going to get this move again. So you're going to get. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like it might be a bigger version of this right here. 22.89 is what you need to watch. What else we got here? We have Mara. They fell. AMD. So AMD is, in my opinion, it's probably already finished. Excuse me. Talking too much. I think this is already finished, this move down. And I think that was a first wave. And I think it's in the middle of making a second wave, which I think is possibly going to come down here and fill the gap, though, at 155. It can still come all the way down here to 155 early next week. And then I'm ready for it to make its way up here to at least probably, I think I said 180. $185. So probably come up here to 190, to be honest. So I think AMD is ready to rock and roll higher to complete this overall ABC move. Is it possible this is a second wave? It has retraced to the 0.5 fib. It does look like it made 5 waves. Possible it's a third wave, but based on other charts and what I think the market's going to do, I think it's more than likely that AMD is probably making a B wave here. So, or it could be a B wave too. That's what I just said. It could be a B wave, or it could be a second wave. I don't think that this is in the middle. I really don't right now. I don't think this is in the middle of a third wave. So I'll be out 180 to 190. I'll be out of this position. So just waiting for it to pop one more time. And let's look at standard deviations though. So standard deviations, we're sitting almost in the middle now. So it has enough room to come up here to 190, but after that, this is starting to shrink a little bit. It's got to make the move soon. I think it's coming. 180 to 190 on AMD. NVIDIA, I haven't charted it yet. ENPH, I went over this last video. It's about to hit the target here. And it looks to me like It might come up here. Probably has a little bit more to go. But again, the overall structure is bullish from here. So when you hit this area, you're looking up here, maybe back up to like 140 and then back down. So drew this up last time and then a big move after that. I'm trying to think of any of the stocks I want to go over. ARM's been rolling higher, but it's back down to 160. I didn't see that fall again. So yeah, they sold the other day at 168, like last Friday before that, and it did make one more high, but it's definitely done now. This is a 5-wave move right here. So you're looking for a retrace on ARM, potentially back to 163 to 171, and then it's straight down from there. So this has made a huge move from the bottom. Yeah, I'd be out of this probably. Yep. Okay, that's enough on ARM. What else we got here? I think that's pretty much it for this video. Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin real quick. So I was speculating Bitcoin's going to make a diagonal. It's possible because this is an ABC move. So if it doesn't make a diagonal, let's say it bounces and then comes down more, it's possible it's still in a fourth wave, be a really big fourth wave, but I think it's probably finished. A lot of people are saying it's going to come down lower. It is below the 20 and the 50 right now. It almost looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern to me too. You can see it pretty clearly. So I think there's a chance we get a diagonal over the next month or two, maybe a third wave higher here to 84,000, and then pull back into the election, and then get our fifth wave after the election like that. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin from here up to 84K here soon, and then pull back and a move higher. Of course, I'm kind of guessing here because it did make an ABC move, so technically that could be a B wave. But I was showing you in previous videos, this already got outside of the parallel line for a fourth wave. So it should be in a fifth wave already. Like the fifth wave should already have started. And so the only formation that makes sense is a diagonal. So I'm looking for that over the next probably year, maybe 6 to 9 months. And that would be the top. So, all right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. That's pretty much it. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you're not already. And I'll keep you updated the rest of the week. Have a good rest of the weekend.